welcome back to my page. Today I'm going to be talking about 4 ways to cure anxiety on your own, where you don't need to go purchase pills or purchase anything at all. Really just these 4 ways, and these are the ways that help me with my own anxiety. I know anxiety is like a big thing. A lot of people deal with anxiety. I feel like at some point everybody in life at some point has dealt with anxiety. Some might be more severe than others just because we all are different anyway. So for me, I've had anxiety for double-digit years, almost my entire life. And I remember one situation where I really understood what I had because I didn't really know. And one day I was sitting at a dinner table at a restaurant with some people, and some comments were made, and they were triggers for me. And at that moment in time, I started shaking. My heart started beating super fast. I couldn't control the shakes. I felt like I couldn't breathe at a certain point in time. I had to get up and go outside. I couldn't even go to the restroom. I had to go outside and breathe and calm myself down. And it wasn't like I was angry, but it was different. It was kind of like this uncontrollable. I couldn't control it, and that was how anxiety showed up for me. And what I learned from that experience was so much, and I want to share a little bit of that with you guys while I'm walking you through these 4 steps and 4 tips really to just cure your own anxiety on your own. They definitely help for me. So what I learned about that situation was one of the things I did when I was sitting at that table. One of the first things I did was I was in my head about what was being said, and I was thinking about things that were in the past at that point in time and connecting them to that present situation, and how I was so tired of these particular things being said and being done, and also how I felt like I was powerless. I felt like I couldn't really do anything about it. I felt like I couldn't really say what I really wanted to say because of where we were, who we were around, and who the person was, and I didn't want to make things worse. So I really felt like I was holding a lot back. So now that I've been into Reiki and doing Reiki for a while, I'm noticing that I really was blocking my throat chakra at that time. And so with me holding everything back about the things that I wanted to say, I think it just built up, and then my mind just kind of was all over the place. I really didn't have clear thoughts. I really didn't know what I needed to do, wanted to do. I just knew that I felt like I would explode. And then when I felt like I was shaking, it really scared me, and I really didn't know what to do. So the only thing that I thought about doing is getting out of the situation. I need to remove myself from this situation. So I got up and I started to go outside of the restaurant. And I did that, and I breathed for a moment. And then I got on the phone, I talked to my mom, and I started to talk to her about how I was feeling. And that really actually helped me, because I think that if I would have not talked about my feelings, then I think I would have stayed in that space for a while, and I think that it would have gotten worse, because me talking to her allowed me to get out my feelings without feeling judged, without feeling like I had to be restricted. Because sometimes when I talked to my mom back then, I would just really not try to use curse words around her, but I really felt like I just needed to really just let go. And so I was explaining to her what happened. I was calming myself down. She was talking to me. Later on, my husband came out there. And so I think just being able to release. So that's what I noticed about that situation, is that first I was restricting myself from speaking. I was thinking about the past and comparing it to what was happening then. And then also me shaking. I think it was just a buildup of so much anger and frustration and feeling unheard, feeling powerless, and different things like that. So basically what I learned from that situation was basically that I need to work on speaking up and not being afraid to do so, and different things like that. So I'm going to start off with number 1, because I don't want to keep going about that same situation, but it definitely was a point where after that I really looked up what anxiety was, because I was typing in my symptoms and different things like that, and other things happened too, but I was focused on that, and then the word anxiety came up, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And even later on, when I told this person like I was having an anxiety attack, they kind of were like, what? It was almost like in disbelief. And so that kind of made me a little bit upset too. But I did have to get over that, because a lot of people, they aren't going to understand. They're not going to get it, because they're not you. And because anxiety looks different on other people, sometimes people don't even recognize the anxiety that they have themselves, because it does look different, and it's interpreted in different ways because we're different, right? So I feel like, not even allowing other people to have any type of say so, opinion, or feelings about what you're going through, because you're the one going through it, and just removing all of that. Okay, so just removing that. So let me go ahead into tip number 1. So the first thing I want to say is to just don't hold back. That's what I learned. Don't hold back. It's really it's how you respond. So I'm not saying like, go off and be like, da 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 da, what I'm saying? But you don't need to hold back, and you need to be able to respond in a way that works for your good and not against you. Because by you, let's say you were in a situation and you didn't want to hold back your feelings, and you kind of just like went off and yelled at different stuff like that, that actually really lowers your vibration. And it takes you into a space where you really are going to later on, probably 10 times out of 10, regret that you responded that way. You're going to feel better. Those are one of those scenarios and examples where you would like go take a nap and then wake up and you'd be like, wow, did I really respond that way? Okay, so you want to change that. You want to make sure that you don't hold back, but also you respond in the way that works for you, where you're not left regretting what you said, regretting how you did it, and different things like that. All right, so number 2, I want to tell you that you need to freeze and think. Just freeze, just pause for a minute, and I want you to begin to think, because a lot of times when anxiety comes on, it's hard to think. It's just so many things going on in your mind at one time, and it's just like it's really chaotic at that time in your mind. So I want you to freeze and think about what happened, not what has happened, not what happened in the past, not connecting it to anything else, not allowing it to be that trigger for you. Freeze and think, okay, where am I in this present moment? What is happening in this present moment that is making me feel this way? What can I do about this in a way that works for my highest good, that doesn't take me outside of my, myself at that moment in time, and outside of yourself, outside of the way you would like to respond. You know what I mean? So, but just freeze and just think. So the third tip I want to give you is really to find the root. Later on, you're going to be finding the root through self-discovery, finding the root, finding why is it that when these certain things happen, you get anxiety? What is causing your anxiety anyway? You need to find that root. So that's very, very important, which to me, that is, I'm doing it in reverse order because I want to save like the number 1 thing for last. But if I was doing it in the other order, this will be number 2 on my list, is to first find the root. Second, find the root. So you want to find that root, because a lot of times you'll just keep dealing with the same thing over and over and over. And it's about breaking the cycle. It's about learning yourself and knowing what are my triggers, what causes this anxiety, what's happening at that moment, what am I thinking about, and is it the people that I'm around? Is it certain things that are being said? I mean, it's an infinite amount of things that it could be, and you just need to find that root. And a lot of times that root is going back to childhood. A lot of times it is, but for other people it might be something even more recent. It might just be with that particular person or that particular thing, and it could be fear. Fear could be a root. Then you have to talk about fear. You have to understand where that fear actually comes from. So to me, I feel like when you dig deeper into things, then you're able to really understand what's happening, and then you're able to make the decision and a different choice. And it just helps you to clear all that, release all that stuff that's there, and be able to cure yourself. Okay, so the number 1 thing, this is my favorite thing that I tell everybody, the number 1 thing that you can do to cure your anxiety is really just to breathe. It's really just that simple. It's really just to breathe. This is something that has helped me so many times, and I didn't really notice the pattern of the things that I was doing until later on in life. And I noticed that a lot of times I would need to escape the situation and go outside in nature. gate and just breathe. And I am an earth sign, so it makes sense. And I used to come outside, like, because I used to feel so suffocated and everything like that. And I used to come outside and just go. And then when I started learning how to like take a deep breath in and hold for 5 seconds and then release for 5 to 10 seconds, that really started helping me in an even deeper way. So then it allowed me to be able to clear my mind from those past thoughts and those triggers, and then be able to really consciously think in that moment, how do I want to respond to this? Instead of just responding through what I was going through and feeling at that moment. And, you know, sometimes even if you're in those moments and you have moments where, you know, you feel like you might just need to say what you need to say, I mean, go ahead and do that, because the point is that a lot of anxiety comes from you restricting yourself. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a learning experience. You might not start off how you end up like years from now or months from now. It's going to take time, and you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be forgiving of yourself and loving yourself enough to know that this is going to be a process for me. This is something that I'm going to have to revisit. I'm going to have to explore with, that I'm going to have to learn to do in order to cure this, because a lot of times we just get quick fixes, and those quick fixes aren't curing anything. It helps you at that moment, and then you have to come right back to that same cycle, that same thing. So why not cure it completely by going through this process of finding what the root is, breathing, not holding yourself back, but doing it in a way that works for your highest good, and freezing and not thinking about the past and focusing on just that moment at a time. There are so many other tips that definitely can help you with your anxiety, but this is just what's helped me. So thank you for listening to this, and I want you to drop a comment below, and really, if you deal with anxiety, drop a comment below and just kind of, you know, chat with me. I'll be available for about 30 minutes after I post this video to be able to answer questions and really just talk back and forth a little bit with you guys. But I'd love to hear even some of your stories about anxiety, or what has helped you with your anxiety. So this is just what's helped me in many different areas in my life, and it's definitely for sure helped me with anxiety. So remember to breathe. Number one thing, take a deep breath, breathe. A lot of things can be resolved and cured with just our breath, and we need to understand that. So you guys, I hope this has helped you in some way. Matter of fact, I know that it did. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified and get that notification every single time I post a video, because I'm going to be posting some amazing videos, you guys. If you like this video and you felt like you resonated with this video in any way, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. So you guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, and you got this. Matter of fact, you're already cured, all right? No more anxiety, and have a great rest of your day. And remember, you are magic. So today, be magical. Ashe.